Danger! Danger right there! Danger!
Hi guys, so now we're going to go over this video on some single leg finishes, more specifically on high single finishes. But before we do that, I just have to quickly go over some setups on how do I get to a single leg in the first place. One of the easiest ones that I find is literally just grabbing it. So coaches will tell you, as long as you're in a good position and the leg is in front, right? If it's their lead leg and that's the leg you want, just grab it, right? So I got to be in a nice wrestling stance. If Cody's leg happens to be right in front of me and I'm in a good stance, easiest thing I can do is just step to the outside, get really close, and just grab his leg, right? Just stepping in, grabbing the leg. So that's what I'm going to do here. Step behind and just grab really high. Notice that I'm doing a single leg position, so my head is on the inside, right? I'm listening right now to his heartbeat, right? So right here, going right there. So all I'm going to do, step, and just get in. So that's just an entrance. Just here, step, get in, and I'm really high up in the hip, right? Not down at the knee. I'm high in the hip right here, right? So that's just the first way to get there before we start actually hiking it all the way up.
This setup works the best when you're in a perfect wrestling stance and that their lead leg is the same as your lead leg. Often this is done if you're confident you can get past their head and their hands when you step behind to get that shot.
Okay guys, so now we just went over literally just grabbing the leg as a setup to get to our single. Now I'm going to show you from an elbow pass, right? So an elbow pass, what that looks like is when your opponent grabs your head, right? So whatever side they're grabbing your head, usually it's one hand, we're usually wrestling here, usually they have one hand on the head, right? I need to actually grab onto his elbow. So not above the elbow here, well, this way anyways, more towards like his shoulder. So right here, just before it bends, so that I can bring the whole arm up. So on the elbow pass, my thumb is going to be on the outside, right? So I'm grabbing it like really tight, like this. Grabbing real tight, I have a hold of his arm, and I need to lift this off and actually shrug my shoulder to get this pressure off. Right now he's gripping tight, and I just need to shrug it, and I'm going to lift it, and then now I'm going to circle towards that leg. So I go shrug, lift, and see it's right here. I don't just hold on to it way far away. I usually want to get my head right in the pocket here. So here, my head is in the pocket, notice, covering the arm so you can't bring it back. And now I can let go of this, step behind just like before, and get my single leg, right? So I can do that again, grabs my head. Again, I gotta bind his above the elbow. Bind it and shrug. Shrug, shoulder shrug, lift it, and now I'm gonna circle to that leg. Here, cover, and now that I'm here, I can just grab, right? That's going to be another one of our kind of setups, just getting to the single leg in the first place.
This setup is most efficient for when your opponent really likes grabbing your head. Do not allow your opponent to grab your head for too long, as they will establish a tight grip on your head and you'll have to resort to a 2-on-1 instead.
Okay guys, so now we're going to go, we just did elbow pass. Now I'm going to show you an elbow pop. It's almost the same thing, but this time instead of thumb being on the outside, thumb's going to be on the inside. A lot of times you can use this for kind of a high crotch or double leg setup, but you can also use it as a single leg setup. Just have to make sure, obviously, when I take a single leg, again, head is on the inside as opposed to on the outside like a double or high crotch. Right? So again, this comes from them grabbing my head again, but this time instead of thumb on the outside towards the camera here and shrugging it off like that elbow pass, right? Now I'm going to actually thumb on the inside, and I'm going to pop it up, right? So I'm still nice and low. I need to pop again above the elbow. If I pop right here, his arm bends, so it doesn't go anywhere really, right? It doesn't really do anything. Here, it lifts the whole arm. So I got to pop, and now I'm again stepping to the outside because I'm trying to go for a single. The lead leg here is right there, so I'm just going to pop, grab, nice and high, right? Grabbing high on the thigh. So one last time. He grabs, instead of from the outside, from the inside, kind of lifting it up, pop, step to the outside, and I have my single leg, right? So that's just another kind of way to enter, very similar to the elbow pass.
This setup is also best used when your opponent is grabbing your head. It's most efficiently used as soon as they grab your head and if they're reaching with the same lead hand as their lead leg.
Okay guys, last one for you. So there's a lot of ways we can get to our single leg, right? I'm gonna show you one more. It's gonna be from an underhook. So Cody showed this in a different series on kind of a back take series with that throw by. We're gonna try to get to that throw by here, but then he's gonna whizzer hard and kind of not let me get all the way behind. And then I'm gonna take the single from there. So again, one way to get to that underhook is I'm gonna club the head and yeah, get him to reach. Right, so whatever side, right, if I club and he reaches one side or the other, maybe the near side, I can punch on that side. Right, so get to the underhook, I club, he grabs, right, because he doesn't want to go down, I punch. Right, so now I have this underhook. Now, when I throw by, obviously Cody has shown this before, we step and then we would throw all the way, but see now, you notice I can't throw it. He's whizzering down hard, but I'm behind him. Right, so I'm trying to throw my habits head, whatever, even if my hand's free, doesn't matter, as long as I have that underhook. The single leg's right there. I'm behind him. I'm in perfect position. I just have to now drop this underhook side down to the single, right? So it's just here. And yeah, I'm trying to throw by, but I got to the angle. Now I'm just going to drop, get to my single. All right, so one last time. Again, I'll club one side, underhook the other. So I club, punch, trying to throw by. He doesn't let me, but I got my leg free, right? Because I did a good job of getting me here. Now, easy enough, just the opposite hand goes inside, underhook hand just drops. That's it. To that single leg. Again, listening to his chest here, head on the inside to get to my single.
The underhook position is one of the most versatile positions in wrestling. Not only for the single leg, but for getting to many other wrestling positions as well. It's very dominating, and it gets you much closer to your opponent, so that you can have a much easier time grabbing their leg.
Okay, welcome back guys. So now I've already went through on how do we even get to a single leg. A lot of ways to do it, but I showed you a few ways for you just to get there. Now we're gonna go from when we get into the leg, like our standard single, and we're gonna show hiking it all the way up to our armpit here. So we wanna get them kind of hobbling on one foot like this, right? So again, however I set it up, maybe I just grab it, right? I get in, and maybe having a hard time finishing up here, that's fine. The easiest thing to get someone to fall over is to make them off balance, right? So I have to move Cody. I have to physically move myself, right? If I just stay here, I'm bearing all the weight right now. So I got to get all the weight on one leg. So I'm going to basically move towards that leg, or at least pivot and kind of pull on one leg, right? So I'm moving, and now all the weight is on that leg, right? I would usually continue moving, but just to show you, all the weight now is on this leg. Next thing I can do is drop down my other hand, right? That's not like closest to the leg, is going to drop to the ankle and catch it in my armpit. So I'm going to bump with my head really hard, and I'm going to squat down and wrap my arm really tight like a python around the ankle. So pop, catch, right? Notice I'm pulling back here, right? So right now, my arm is really, really tight. There's no space in here for Cody to kick out or for him to really go anywhere, right? I have him right now, and I'm pretty comfortable, and I can stand up, right? A lot of people make the mistake of kind of like holding it like this, especially when drilling. They hold with just their arm like super open, tons of space, because oh, it's so heavy, or I don't know, maybe just getting lazy. But when I hike this up, I gotta move and bump, catch. Again, I'm wrapping, and basically my hand, you can't really see it now because Cody's ginormous calves. My hand is actually on my chest here. I'm pledge allegiance to the flag right now, American style or Canadian style, either way. So I'm here. And what we can do is just move him, right? A lot of people just fall for movement, but just as a drill, you and your partner can, again, hold this knee, turn at this knee, whatever, and just move, walk forward, and just get comfortable being in this position. You can even drag them back. So you take this out of bounds, right? And you want to pull them back in. You can pull it in so that you can finish this single, right? But again, just notice I have a free hand and I have a tight hand, right? Not lazy, it's a tight hand and then a free hand. So I'm going to show you a lot of ways you can use this free hand to finish your single.
When hiking up a single leg, it's important to get your opponent moving so that you can make their leg lighter. You do this by moving your own feet forward and getting all their weight on the back leg, so that's much easier to wrap down at the ankle. Make sure that there's no space between your armpit and their leg.
All right, guys, so now I showed you how to hike up the leg up to your armpit. Now we're going to actually finish one way here by rotating the knee to turn our opponent to the ground, basically, to turn them to face away from you. So I'll get to my single, however I set that up. Could be underhook, could be elbow pass. I could just step in. I got to here, I bumped him, I caught it. Now what? Okay, if say they're decently balanced here, it's hard. I'm having a hard time just knocking them over by just moving. So what I'm going to do with this free hand, I'll turn this way, is I'm going to rotate this knee this way, away from you guys right now. So this open free hand that's not holding the leg, I'm going to use that forearm as a lever here. This whole forearm is going to go kind of in the side pit of the knee. Notice Cody's already kind of turning that way. You'll notice however their knee is turned is which finish you can kind of go about on this. But we'll just show this first one. I have to put my full body weight with that forearm. So I keep this tight. Again, I go kind of lock into the knee pit, and now I'm going to circle towards his backside here and rotate and put all my body weight squatting down. But I'm going to keep this this tight hand the whole time. Right? So I'm tight. I'm going to rotate now and squat and turn. Squat, turn. And notice it automatically turns him away from me. I'm putting all the weight down. If I don't do that, so Cody will come back up. If I try to just use my arm, like Cody's got a pretty strong leg, I can't just do that with my arm. I actually have to squat and circle, use my whole body weight to turn him. And see, I'm in a squat position. He's tabled up, and that arm is wrapped around still, right? Now that I have him, now I can finish this single, right? So I can climb up the body, so I can go free hands, now I can let go. Other hand, and now I'm on top, right? A lot of ways you can finish the very end there based on how they're grabbed. So one last time, I get him up, I hike it up, and again, I have to use this free hand, put all the weight on it, and it's going to naturally rotate his body, right? This isn't going to really harm your partner, say, in practice, so don't worry. It's not going to hurt their knee as long as you don't go directly on the knee, so don't do that. Go on the side, you want to turn it kind of counterclockwise here, at least if you're on right leg lead, right? So right here, outside turns, see he turns towards, there, he can't really turn back in. And now that he's where I want, I can use my free hand to climb above, and then now I can let go above, right there. So that's our first finish, rotating on the inside towards the inside of his body there.
Use that free hand to rotate their knee towards their body. Do not push on the knee, as you need to rotate it first and push on the pit of the knee so that they can rotate naturally. You also need to make sure that you are circling away as you go down so that you can put all your body weight into it and then take their back more easily.
Okay guys, so now I showed you rotating on the inside towards their body. Now we're going to go the opposite way. Maybe if their knee is slightly more that way, maybe their flexibility is in a different direction, right? So again, however I get this, I just grab the leg, I have to bump him offline, so the weight's on the leg, I hike it up, I catch with my tight hand, I have my free hand. I can't rotate this way maybe, because see, maybe his knee is more pointed away from his body, right? If it was pointed more towards, it's easier to do that rotation one, but now it's pointed this way. So what I can do is with this free hand again, right? This is gonna be very important for all of these, is this free hand, and of course this tight hand. So I'm gonna grab at the knee pit over top, and see already, I'm gonna now back squat, and the opposite leg's gonna squat and pull him down that way. So I'm gonna grab, I'm gonna squat right there, and keep that leg until I wanna pass, cover, or hold it until, you know, I feel comfortable enough to cover on top. So one last time, however I get it, I grab, bump, catch, can't rotate this way, so now I'm gonna grab on the inside, squat, and turn, pull that back leg back. So squat, pivot. He goes down, partner knows how to break fall, tucks his chin. So if you're doing this with someone, make sure that they tuck their chin. One last modification here, just to add to it. Cody actually showed me this one. So I get here, I hang it up. Right, if you're having a hard time pulling him this way, what you can do, notice I have this ankle here. Watch my arm here, so I'll pull this a little closer. I'm gonna now actually bring that elbow to allow his heel to come out. So now I can come like that. So right, so we are here first, but I'm actually gonna bring my bicep, my tricep here to let the heel poke out. Heel pokes out, and I'm turning the foot with my arm here. I'm pulling it in. So I turn the foot, and now I can rotate, cover like that. It's pretty locked in. It turns the knee automatically. It makes it really easy to squat and keep them there. Right? So that's another finish. First we have to rotate that way, and then we have to rotate the other way.
For this finish, you want to make sure that the knee is pointed away from their body. It's not like a rotation like before, it's more of a pull at a 45-degree angle. You do this so that it's not just a pull horizontally, but you also squat when you backstep, and allows you to use your body weight to get them to go downwards, as opposed to just pulling to the side.
Okay guys, so now I'm going to show you a finish from the high single position, a tripping move actually. So we're going to show first kind of a foot sweep, I guess we can call it. So once it's up, maybe you're having a hard time finishing, and we're going to time their hopping to then sweep their leg from underneath. So this one, if you're going to practice this one, maybe just be a little cautious and know that your partner can land properly by tucking your chin, right? Or landing and turning on their stomach, however they land, to be safe, right? So again, however I get there, maybe I grab it, and now I'm going to bump, catch, right? Pull them back into the middle. And now, again, I can't do this from stagnant, right? Because I can't just kick his foot from underneath. I'm not allowed to like kick their foot to hurt them in wrestling. We don't want to do that, but also it's kind of ineffective to trip him in the first place. More efficient way is I have to get him moving, right? I have to get him bouncing, because then once his foot is in the air, that's when I'm going to sweep the foot and punch my free hand to the knee pin, right? So I have to move him first. I can pull at this knee however I want, and circle him around, get him moving, get him hopping, and then when he's going up, I'm timing it, he's going to come up, kick, and stay on top. Right? So notice there, I punched at the knee pit, and I swept there. So it's not a kick, it's a punch sweep, right? My foot is sweeping kind of right at the ankle here, the heel, or the Achilles, I guess, just like right underneath as he's in the air. So one last time, I get there, I hike it up, I have to get him moving. So move, I turn, I can't move him. Sweep, right there, right? So I sweeped right as he was hopping, and at the same time punch the knee up so that the leg goes a little bit higher, right? So that's one kind of trip finish we can do to get them to the ground.
This move works best when you get your opponent moving. To get your opponent moving, you need to use that free hand to pull at the knee over top. Get it up, pull over top, and once they're moving, you can sweep your foot to get them to go through. It makes their foot a lot lighter, and makes it a lot easier to then uppercut the other arm to get them to fall to the ground.
Okay guys, so I showed you the kick trip move, kind of a cool one. I'm going to show you another one where you'll need that free hand handy, because you're going to be tripping now, but instead you're going to bind his head really close to you, kind of like you would, say, in a front headlock situation, or in that kind of steer drill, right? Like where we have his head bound to one shoulder, right? But we're going to do that now from the high single position. So once again, I get there, I bump, I hike it up, right? And that first one, we punch here, sweep there. Now, all I'm going to do is, if I can, sometimes if their legs aren't too long and I'm not way far away, you can always come a little bit higher, but it's best to be long so he's kind of stretched out. If I can reach his head, if your arms are long enough, I grab the head and pull the head towards the shoulder. So I'm binding it like this, right? This makes his spine out of line, and it makes it easy just to then trip him as I'm pulling, right? So it's a pull trip, right? I'm almost tabletopping him with my foot. So it's not a kick, it's more of like a tabletop. So go here, hike up. Again, I bind the head. See, he's offline. It's already very uncomfortable. I'm using my body weight to hold this, not just bicep. A little bit of like squatting, and now I'm gonna pull and sweep right there. And I can let go of the head to keep on top right there. Okay, so one last time, we're gonna go single leg, hike it up, right? Again, bind the head as soon as you can. Usually guys won't, if I just stay here, guys, you'll just take this off of my head, right? So I don't wanna take too long on this. What I wanna do is, right as I decide to do this, I'm gonna go for it, right? So I'm gonna pull, here, right there, and then I can let go as it comes down, right? So that's another kind of easy, quick finish. Again, you need still a tight arm, and then binding that up, that free hand, binding the head.
This move works the best if you pull on the head immediately after hiking the leg up. Notice I didn't just pull the head directly downward. I pulled it to the side, and if I could, I even grabbed the chin to turn his head towards the side to make him fall and bend his spine towards where he needs to fall down.
Okay guys, so we went over a couple trips now. So now we're gonna go kind of another step higher, right? We already have a high single. Now we're gonna go a little bit higher level in here. This is for those of you maybe like myself, I'm a little bit shorter. So when I hike them up, they're usually decently balanced, but they won't fall over. Maybe they're just very well balanced on one foot like this. So I'm gonna actually force it even higher get guys who are more flexible to fall over and just make it easier to finish in general, even if they're not flexible, right? So we're gonna go single leg, hike it up. Now, Cody's pretty comfortable here. He's actually decently flexible in this position because as wrestlers, if you get put here, you get used to being here. So I have to get somewhere that maybe a lot of people aren't used to being, right? Where most people would fall is I'm gonna actually get it even higher to my shoulder. How do I do that? What I have to do is I have to get underneath this leg. I can't just lift it, right? Sure, it's like a little bit light right now, but the easiest way is I'm actually gonna squat underneath it, this opposite shoulder, so not the ones towards you guys holding your leg. The free hand shoulder is gonna go under the knee pit or under the calf, wherever you can go. So I'm gonna squat, and see I switch. So I switch to here. So I'm here, squat, kept the hold of the foot, right? Wherever I'm switching, I'm always keeping hold with one hand or the other. Now, I'm not facing him, so now I have to get it across the other shoulder. So I'm gonna squat again, here, and notice, I'm not standing up yet, right? It's about the same as before, but if I stand up, it's really hard for it to move, so I can just usually walk them down. If they're not as flexible, they usually fall down, right? So, one last time, I'm gonna hike it up, get it here. Again, I did that really slow, so all the way it's gonna, again, shoulder punch, shoulder punch. So shoulder, shoulder, stand, walk. Right? One modification here for you guys. So say they're still, maybe they're still hopping, right? They're not very strong there, but they're still, at least, you're having a hard time just making them fall over at this position. And you just go out of bounds, you only get one, right? I want to get 4 or 2 at least, right? On my points anyways, right? So I get here, I bump, I catch, right? And let's say I got to shoulder to shoulder. I won't stand up yet. But let's say this guy's super flexible, and it's hard for me when I stand up to just get them to fall. I'm only getting 1 off of this after all this work, right? What I want to do is actually, I can cradle him from here. I can't this close, right? So I actually have to slide my shoulder that's kind of along his leg, like an accordion, all the way down to his knee pit here. So I can actually grab the leg and lift it, but squat while I'm doing it and try to shift my shoulder to the knee pit. When I shift it to the knee pit, now when I stand up, I'm gonna go for his head. So I'm gonna grab, walk down. Now I cradle. So I'll do that all the way through really quick. Again, single leg, however I get it, hike it up. Again, I tried to go really high and whoosh, whoosh here. Whoosh, whoosh, call it the whoosh, whoosh move now. Right, so I can't just grab him from here, I gotta shift, and as I shift, I'll grab his head. So I'll pull him a little bit this way, so you guys can see. So shift, catch, and now I can go down. Nice and easy, right? So those are a couple of finishes you can do from high single. There's probably a ton more, but those are some ones that I've had success in, Cody's had success in. So feel free to use any one of these, try them out, but be safe as you do so.
This move works very well for individuals who are quite flexible. It even works on those who aren't quite as flexible, but remember, you're not lifting the leg up, you are putting yourself underneath their leg and then jacking the leg up. In turn, you're using your shoulder as a jack to elevate the leg. Note that just like with the other elevator move, you are lowering yourself under their leg as opposed to only lifting their leg. To slide up the leg, you also need to just slightly change your level underneath so that you can more efficiently get close to the head. Then take both hands, lock around the head, and be sure that you circle your shoulder that's jacking the leg up towards their head so you can go for the pin.
Thank you very much for watching. This is Coach Cruz Velasquez
and Cody Osborn.